Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the channel. Glad to have you with us today, and we are going to show you a special treat from Japan. To the untrained eye, this looked like a really clean Lexus SC from the first generation, but in fact, it is a 1998 Toyota Soarer 2.5 GT with the luxury package. And if you look a little bit more closely, you'll notice it is a right-hand drive car. It retains its factory 1JZ GTE VVTi inline-6 turbocharged engine, made it to a brand new R154 5-speed manual transmission. And this car is deserving of the Soarer name. I can't even explain in words how comfortable and refined the driving experience is. And that's one of the reasons why in marketing materials from Japan, the car was promoted as a car for mind cruising. I can't think of a better way to put that. In fact, look at the translation that I ran through Google. It says, a car that can speak from its heart. That's what the Soarer is all about. The form, the mechanism, and even the power. All of these were born with the sole purpose of satisfying the heart of the person who drives it. That, my friends, is pinnacle Japanese build engineering. Everything has been thought about. Every creature comfort has been accounted for. And this car, despite being 27 years old and having 86,000 kilometers on it, it drives like an absolutely new car. Special thanks to my friend Ren for loaning it out to me for the weekend. I swapped in for my Integra so we could have kind of a right-hand drive experience of a different type for each of our weekends. Here's a promotional brochure for the Soarer. I'll be thumbing through this to soak up the details later. Now here you can see a first glimpse of what I consider to be perhaps my favorite feature of the entire car. That is that digital cluster with the bar style tachometer. I'll show you that in action here momentarily. Now I know I have some Lexus fans in the audience, despite the fact that my audience skews toward Honda and Acura. In fact, I did feature a really clean Lexus Sport Design IS300 about a year ago that you can check out on the channel. Now, the first thing you notice about the car is that it does share a chassis with the first generation Lexus SC, which came in both inline-6 and V8 powertrains. It was offered from 1992 to 2000 with a refresh there in the middle. This car, of course, like I said, comes from 1998. In the United States, this color went by Royal Sapphire Pearl, but in Japan, they called it Blue Mica Metallic. And the video and photos definitely don't do it justice. This car has a particularly nice sheen to it, especially when the sun hits it just right. This car was imported from Japan by the current owner in August 2024. I wrote a story about this on classiccars.com that I can link to in the description, outlining some of the steps and the chronology that it took for him to get this car all the way from Japan to here in Arizona. And as a nod to the owner for lending me the car, his business is called Z30 Concepts and offers a number of unique and special accessories and parts components for the JZZ30 platform. So check his channel out, also his parts store. A few quick notes to comment on with the exterior. This car did come stock with a spoiler that's since been removed and the holes were filled by the previous owner. You'll notice also the rear wiper was removed. Black window trim is special to the Soarer. There is a possibility of getting chrome trim on the Soarer, but it was only available on packages with the leather interior. Also, speaking of the windows, since we're right here, all Soarers came with a UV glass, whereas the SC did not. Moving up here to the front, notice this bubble side marker. The SC had flat ones, and this one kind of rounds out that you can see here. This car also would have had 2.5 GT-T fender emblems that have been removed here from the front portions of the car. One of the themes that you'll see frequently throughout the car is this design, which is called a winged lion. You see it here on the center caps for the 16-inch wheels, as well as for the center of the steering wheel and other places on the interior, which I'll show you when we get there. Last but not least, the Lexus SC had a power antenna that was on the left quarter panel here, whereas the Soarer has it built into the rear glass. Under the hood, we have this 2.5GT-T 2.5 liter inline six with one turbo and the VVTi technology. The car also has a Torsen limited slip differential, which wasn't ever offered on the SC, and it was optional on the Soarer. Last but not least, and I noticed this in particular today on some rougher roads, this car has what's called the Thames suspension setup, Toyota electronic modulated suspension. It came standard on the luxury package and was never offered on the SC. So you can start to see a trend here where some of the Japanese cars, to no surprise, had features that the US cars did not. That's not something exclusive to Toyota. We see that in the Honda community as well. The powertrain, by the way, was rated at 279 horsepower. Earlier I mentioned this car comes with an R154 manual transmission. It did originally come as an automatic, so it was converted by the prior owner. This Soarer is the luxury model, and the GT-TL in particular added electric seats, wood trim, cruise control, and that Toyota electronic damper suspension system. So we are looking at a relatively high-end Soarer for its time. Let's go ahead and take a seat in the driver position here, and we'll show you a little bit about the cabin of this Soarer. Over here on the passenger side, a few things to talk about. Notice that road flare underneath the passenger side of the dash. That was a big JDM feature for its time. In fact, my Integra Type R has the same thing. These are the cloth velour seats, which are unbelievably comfortable. They were only available on L package model, and the SC, the Lexus SC with cloth seats, never got this particular type of velour. And who doesn't love those optional leaf floor mats? That is one of the coolest floor mat designs I've ever seen. This was a carryover feature from the Lexus SC as well. Check out that neat little cup holder that pops out. Maybe not bigger than just a regular Coke can, but it'll do the job. Of course, all the feature content you would expect from a luxury sport coupe from Japan, including automatic climate control. Obviously, the stereo system here has been updated to a modern Bluetooth Kenwood system. I showed you briefly the winged lion here on the steering wheel. And this gauge cluster, I just can't get enough of it. It's got that bar style tack on the bottom. It reads only in kilometers. You can see the upper left is the fuel, top right is the engine temp. The car is displaying a slip control warning because of the fact that it was switched from an automatic to a manual transmission, but is able to drive under normal conditions even with the warning displayed. The car does have 86,844 kilometers, which comes out to about 54,000 miles. So for its age, this is a relatively low mile car. Ren called this to my attention. If you notice the turn signals, it really, you can't tell on the video, but because of the way this cluster is sort of three-dimensional in a sense, it almost looks like the turn signal indicators are sort of floating. It's way more visible when you're in the car versus on the screen, but hopefully it makes sense what I'm trying to explain. There is a manual tilt and telescoping steering wheel here, whereas the Lexus SC always had power tilt and telescoping. Of course, being from Japan, that climate control system is only displaying in Celsius. So I've got it set to 24 right here. Filming this piece the second day because the video clip didn't work yesterday, but notice this feature too. Power folding mirrors with the button right here above the mirror adjustment. You just click that and they go in slick. Another thing that I learned is about the visors. So these are the Soarer non-illuminated visors. The SC always got lights in those. Of course, there's the Japanese warning labels there as well. Seat's gonna move forward electronically when I access the rear passenger compartment, and check that out. There's a third seat belt here. Soarers came with that, whereas the Lexus SC was simply a four-seater. Not that you could fit very large of people in here, but it's nice to know you could if you had to. This is one of my favorite little Easter eggs, that the Soarer has artistic intelligence, again with the winged lion that you see as a consistent theme throughout the car. A really incredible car, and one that I would be proud to own and drive, especially for the exclusivity. There was some production numbers put together by one of the community members for this car that stated there were only about 50 some odd produced in this particular color. As much as I hate to give this car back to Ren, unfortunately we're going to swap cars back this evening, and I'll get the Integra back. But I really enjoyed giving you this brief overview of the 98 Toyota Soarer. If you want to get in touch with Ren, his Instagram page for his business is under Z30 Concepts. You can look him up, message him, and ask about the platform and browse some of the merchandise that he sells there. But thanks to him for letting me take the keys to this car for a couple days, and thanks to all of you for watching. We'll talk to you soon.